Hey,
Hello, and
how's it
welcome
going?
to Next Round on Me podcast.
Can we start over? I did not.
Dan can edit this. Don't worry about it. All right.
I was
Yeah,
sitting there.
I'm gonna introduce you. Okay. All right. Uh, hey Dan, when you listen to this, just start it from here. Hello, and welcome to Next Round on Me pod. Today we have a special episode because Dan and Josh are on the run from ninjas and wizards or something. So I'm left to my own devices, but it's okay because I'm joined by my good buddy Alex Retro. Alex, say hello to the people.
How's it going? Should be
Um,
fun.
it should be fun.
Thanks for
Uh,
having me.
thank you for coming. This was very last minute. I was supposed to ask him. For those who listen to this, I guess in Germany, we have like German fans apparently. I was supposed to ask him like last weekend, and I asked him like yesterday. just just like, hey, you want to give me like an hour of your Friday night? And he's like, I guess.
Actually, I said I'm homesick anyway, so
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah. So Alex plays some music, plays in a band, does the thing. So I'm gonna ask him some questions about that. All right. I don't know why I'm talking to the audience, not to you. I'm gonna ask you some questions about that.
all
So
right, ask away.
give me a little bit around yourself. What do you play? What do you like? I mean, I know this, but for people who don't know, what do you do?
Okay, so I play guitar, sing lead vocals, write the songs for geeky-punk band Atomic Treehouse. We formed in 2016. Still jamming. We got one full-length album out. We're working on a second, and just like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Also, I believe you do solo music sometimes under
I
your own name.
do most of which is acoustic, but occasionally I'll get like a studio drummer or something and do a electric song.
Okay.
But that's a lot of like keyboards and acoustic guitars.
Do you when was the last like solo release? I know you did a re-release of a project recently.
The last full length was just 2 years ago. I recorded one during the lockdown,
Okay.
like spring 2020.
Was it just like how did that come about? Was this kind of like were you just like in lockdown, like had some stuff you wanted to sing about or
I
boredom or just
mean,
keep busy?
yeah, just something to do. I don't really like just like not having new music in the works. So we
Yeah.
can't have band practice or anything. So I'm not gonna just like sit around not do anything.
Yeah. So I guess like the band, because you said you guys formed in 2016. So you guys just like I guess like had to take a break like everyone else did, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was that long. I mean, as far as like not getting together at all, it was just 2 or 3 months, however long,
Yeah.
because Florida's lockdown ended like it's pretty quickly. But
The COVID's over. Anyway, guys, get back to your jobs and your lives.
yeah. Well, I,
Yeah.
I worked through the whole pandemic anyway because I work in a hospital. So
Okay. Yeah. So also actually I want to ask about the formation. How did like what did you because you were playing solo music first, right?
yes,
So what kind of led to like the band? Like was it something you wanted to do for a while? Did someone approach you? Like yeah, how did this come together?
I guess with the solo music, that was largely just not having people to play with, and just like, well, I want to play punk rock, so I'm gonna use an acoustic guitar, but play faster than you normally would on an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And then once I started like finding more friends who were into music, it was like, oh, let's start a band.
Yeah.
And the three of us, the original Atomic Treehouse lineup, okay, we still have the same drummer, Eric Eric Sticks,
Yeah.
like drumsticks. He's been the drummer since the start, or our original bassist, Johnny Missophone. Uh, the three of us started a band also with Johnny's brother Jeremy, and that
Yeah.
band was called the Missophones. And
Okay.
we played like one battle of the bands,
Did you
and
win?
then after that we like made an EP, like a home recorded EP.
But did you
Then
guys
just
win the did you guys win the battle of the bands?
yes, we did actually.
Wait, what did you win? Like money, a t-shirt?
It was Sam Ash gift cards and some guitar strings.
Wait, gift cards to where?
Sam Ash music store.
Oh, okay.
It's
I've
like
never.
guitars and drums, instrument store.
Oh, it's like a local place, I'm assuming.
I I guess it is. I didn't realize it was until right now.
I've
I
never heard
thought
of
of
it.
it. I assumed it was a nationwide chain. Uh,
I just know like Sweetwater Guitar Center and Alto Music. That's pretty much it.
Come to think of it, I can't think of another Sam Ash besides the one I go to. Most of them are Guitar Centers.
There you go.
My guitar came from Guitar Center. My Epiphone, it's a translucent blue.
Nice.
But yeah, so we started that band, and then Jeremy, the bass player for that band, went off to college. So Johnny switched from guitar to playing bass, and we became a three-piece. And then we were like, well, should we change a name? And we decided to change a name because one, nobody knew how to pronounce misophones. Two, we got tired of having to explain what it meant. So it was just like, okay, let's just start over with a blank slate.
Yeah.
So that's 2016. We did Atomic Treehouse.
Okay.
Recorded the first couple EPs, played shows, and then we did the studio album with Matt Goings in 2019.
Cool.
And he's doing our second album that we're currently working on as well.
Cool. So because like I don't want to like I asked you about it actually a while ago because the first album was 2019, so it's been a little while. So and I know you released 2 or 3 songs that you told me were going to be on the second album. How far along would you say you are in the second album, I guess, recording process? Like, is it all written and it just has to be recorded now, or?
It's pretty much all written. Half of it is recorded. The other half is all either written or like songs that are almost written.
Yeah.
We're actually having a practice tomorrow if I'm not too sick.
Okay.
And we're just trying to tighten up some of those songs, and then they'll be ready to go. But
yeah,
for the most part, I would say the whole album's been written.
Do you have like I'm assuming you have like a release date. Do you have like a window that you'd like to hit?
I would like to say first quarter of next year.
Yeah,
but
yeah, you never know. Yeah, recording sucks. It's not easy. It's not easy. Well, so what was I gonna ask you? I'm not good at this, but it's okay because we got Dan to fix it in post, baby. No, well, so okay, so you go by Alex Retro. So why retro? Retro games, retro clothes, retro TVs. I'm setting you up. That's right.
Honestly, it kind of is a joke. Even though I am into retro stuff, I'll explain that. When I was in high school, I started using that username, that stage name. When I was drawing, I would draw comic strips during class.
Okay.
And it was like, this was like mid 2000s.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of like 90s stuff I liked. And when you're like 14, you think that stuff that's like 10 years old is so old, even though it's not.
Yeah.
And so I would like talk about all this 90s stuff, and my classmates would be like, "You're so retro, it's so old school." I was like, "Is it?" Like, so I just kind of like sarcastically start going by Alex Retro. But now as more time passes, those things actually are retro.
Yeah.
It's like DuckTales, yeah, that's pretty retro now.
Well, they made a new one, so everything's rebooted,
The originals are retro.
The original, yeah. So was that your AIM username, Alex Retro?
No, I don't know why I said username. My AIM username was Lagwagon 1991.
Oh, the band.
Yeah. Back in the AIM days.
So when you're writing solo stuff or Atomic Treehouse stuff, do you like, I don't know, what do you say your influences? Like what do you try to tap into? Like what, I guess like some bands you've heard that you, I don't want to say emulate, but like we all have like, everything's been written already. Everything's been done. There's no original music, quote unquote, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's super easy to write something and then you're just kind of like, wait, this is a song already. Someone already wrote this. And you just figure out you're playing some song you just really like.
That happens. I mean, my first band was the Ramones. Okay. Got into them when I was like 12 or 13. That started with Tony Hawk, hearing it on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3.
Ooh, remember which song it was?
It was, yeah, of course.
It was Blitzkrieg Bop?
Blitzkrieg Bop. I would listen to it over and over again. Then my dad came in the room. He's like, this is the Ramones. And he had like an old cassette tape of them from the 80s.
Oh, that's cool.
It was a homemade tape that his old roommate made him. So like side A was the live album, It's Alive.
Yeah.
And side B was like Too Tough to Die and Animal Boy. So we just like listened to those in his Oldsmobile. It was like the best times.
That's cool. Yeah.
So the Ramones were like definitely like the
impetus,
like the
start of
entry. which is like a good starting point because it's like the classic punk band.
Yeah, for sure.
But of course, also being a millennial, I was around all the like mainstream pop punk too, you know, Green Day, Blink.
Yeah.
So I took all that in. MXPX became my favorite band.
Okay.
There's a lot of like Ramones influenced bands, you know, like Screeching Weasel, Huntingtons, the Queers, the Riverdales.
Yeah.
So you know, a lot of stuff like that, Ramones and Ramones related stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Ramones adjacent, as we call it. Yeah, no, so it's yeah, so you definitely you draw from just like, you know, like not to sound like a dumb elitist, it's just what people call just true punk rock, man, that real stuff, like what Warped Tour used to be, it needs to go back to, even though it died. Yeah, I get what you're talking about. Actually, I think Kevin Nyman puts on this big old festival, like still, where he has like Screeching Weasel and like Pennywise and Lagwagon play, and like to kind of appeal to all the old, like, yeah, dude, like in California.
Which do you know the name? Because it's probably a festival I know about. I just didn't realize he does it.
I don't remember. Yeah, because that's like the stuff he used to put on, and then because that's the stuff like that. You know, he was really good at like just knowing, like, hey, like this is what's popular right now. Like I still need to make money, you know. Like, you know, Warped Tour in the first 2 years, and then by the last 2 years was very different. You know, you had the whole metalcore phase and pop punk phase, and
with two, you have like if you've read about, I think it was like 2005 was their highest grossing year.
oh, okay, that's cool.
Because I hope I'm not getting facts wrong, but Fall Out Boy and My Chemical Romance were both on that tour. And like when he booked them, they had played the previous year and they were like building steam. So he's like, yeah, I'll book you again for next year.
And then they were huge.
Then Under the Cork Tree and what's the My Chemical Romance, Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge.
Yeah.
Both those albums came out. And then they just blew up.
Yeah.
And so all these people who'd never been to a show before were buying Warped Tour tickets.
Yeah.
And apparently the Warped Tour doesn't actually make that much money off tickets.
No.
In fact, they don't even make a profit off tickets normally.
No, they don't.
They said 2005 was the 1 year that they actually had like a profit off ticket sales.
Okay. I'm looking at the lineup, and it was actually, yeah, so yeah, it was Fall Out Boy, Billy Idol played it. Okay.
Oh yeah, a few dates, I think.
Yeah,
I know Joan Jett played one Warped Tour too.
Yeah, MCR, Census Fails, the starting line. These guys are getting started on that time, but you still had like Reliant K played. Good Charlotte was also blown up around that time. That's cool. Thrice, Avenged Sevenfold. Okay. Dropkick Murphys, MXPX played. That's cool. Transplants. Yeah, so they had a pretty good mix from what I'm seeing. But like a lot of these guys I'm looking at, like in 2005, they were still fresh. Like Motion City Soundtrack was like only like 2 albums in.
Yeah.
Sales,
I mean, you think about that's like,
yeah,
2005 is like the official year of emo. I mean,
I guess so, yeah. Because like I'm looking at this, it's a good. I mean, I would have gone. This is a good lineup. Like today,
yeah, I was
in
in high school at that time period, and
really?
Like Fall Out Boy and My Chemical Romance had just put out their biggest albums.
Yeah,
and like everyone was emo. Like everyone was getting on MySpace and put on their eyeliner. Like,
yeah.
If there's any year that is the emo year, I would say 05.
Oh, so they had a Ernie Ball Battle of the Bands winners, and Day to Remember was one of the bands. That's actually really cool.
That's interesting.
Because I'm looking through, I'm like, I want to see if like any of these bands actually like made it. A lot of these bands I've never heard of, so I'm assuming they didn't really go anywhere, which happens.
Yeah.
But ADTR is, yeah, they're the only ones with like a blue. Oh no, Motionless in White played. That's cool.
I never even like heard of A Day to Remember till I want to say I first heard of them in 2008 or 2009, and then I didn't start listening to them until 2010.
Yeah, well, they're from Florida.
Yeah, so you talk about like 2005 and then Win the Battle of the Bands. It's like, I don't know, like blows my mind. Like, oh yeah, they had an album out back then, but I just like don't think of them because I didn't know about them until later.
Well, they're from Ocala, you know. Like obviously don't say where you're from, but like how is that like far from you? Is that close? Like I don't want you to say exactly where you are in Florida.
2 or 3 hours.
Okay, so and I, you know, and that's pretty far enough where scenes are pretty self-contained because
well, I mean, also back then I wasn't like in the scene. I was just a high school kid listening to CDs.
Just did you have like the book with like all the CDs inside of it?
I still have that.
I had
it's retro.
There you go, living up to the brand name. I had one of those, and someone stole it out of my car at college. I don't know why. It was a bunch of like mixed CDs that I put together. Like, remember, you quite still could. You can buy like a stack of just blank CDs, right, for like $5
Yeah.
probably. And what I did is I just put like a bunch of random songs. Well, like not random songs. I tried to have like some kind of like cohesion, but my first car didn't have like an aux input or anything, so I just made a bunch of CDs. And I I would give rides to my two friends and I would just subject them to my music. It was like, you guys can't pick what to listen to. I'm the one. I'm driving and DJ. Sorry.
Well, that's the rule. That's the rule. If you're driving, then you get to pick the music because you're the one who has to drive.
until you're
that's how.
until you're married. Until you're
Oh,
married, my friend. Then
that,
it's not so easy.
that's how we always do on like band trips. If we're gonna like go to Daytona to record, whoever's driving picks out the album.
Yeah, but I
I
assume you guys have like similar music tastes, right?
Yeah, more or less. And there's a little bit of like so and so doesn't like this so much.
Yeah.
I only got into Fountains of Wayne in the past couple of years because our guitarist Preston,
Yeah.
he joined us in 2020.
Yeah.
He loves Fountains of Wayne.
Okay.
So when we went to record the half of our new album that is recorded, we
Yeah.
drove. He was like playing like their whole discography for me. At first, I was like annoyed, like I'm so sick of hearing this. But then, like a couple months later, I was just like sitting at home one morning. I was like, kind of want to listen to some Fountains of Wayne. And then like I ended up going out and collecting all their CDs, and like now we both love them, so it's cool.
That's how it is. I don't think I have any bands like that. I mean, my wife's showing me some cool stuff. Can you hear me? Thought I
Yeah,
heard like a noise. Okay, I heard like a noise like this kind of. Anyway, I don't think I have any stories like that, but like I've had some stuff my wife will play, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. What is this? And then more often than not, like some song will come on her shuffle, and I'm like, you know this band? And she's like, I guess. And like I always feel like such like a elitist douchebag, but like it's just like a band that like I just it's kind of outside of like what she usually listens to, but then she'll like happen like this one song, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
so I'll just be like, oh, I didn't really like that. Like something like, because she doesn't really listen to a lot of music or bands with like harsh vocals, but every so often, some like a band with like, screaming vocals comes on, and I'm just kind of like, oh, I didn't know you like this song.
And
Um,
is it that she's heard it from you before, or is it this? It turns out she's heard it in the past.
no, she, I think it was just like, I think it would just like play on like her, like you know how like your Spotify would make like a radio based on this or whatever,
Uh,
or yeah, I think it just comes on like that, and she's like, and for her, music is like, if it sounds catchy, she's for it. Like, as long as it's like any slightly like, okay, like she won't do like, like early theater, like early Bring Me the Horizon, like shit like that. She's not about. um, so as long as it's like melodic, then she,
yeah.
she can get down to it. Because I've played her some stuff, and she's like, no, this isn't for me. Because I'm not really into like heavy music like that anymore. Like I used to be, but I'll show her some stuff, and she's like, no, this isn't for me. But that's music, baby.
It
What's
is
your
music.
what's your hat say?
Oh, it's a Ramones hat.
Oh, cool. Oh, it's the seal, right? Yeah. Okay. Is that a skateboarding helmet I see behind you?
It is a skateboarding helmet right here.
Nice. So you skateboard, you play guitar, you're like a true punk rock guy. Love
I
it.
guess.
Do you still skate frequently?
It's too hot right now.
Yeah.
I just skate in the cooler months,
Okay.
which are very few and far between.
There's cooler months in Florida.
Like 60s sometimes.
So that's what it was like here today. Like I was cold. Like I was layered up, dude. I had a flannel and like a jacket, or like a jean jacket on, but that was cold to me. I want to skate. I've always wanted to like start skating, but like I just haven't got around to do it. And like I'm like, am I really like if I break my arm, like I'm 28.
Oh no, I hurt my wrist a few months back, trying to catch a fall,
Yeah.
and we had a show coming up, and since we have two guitarists, I was just like, guys, I'm just gonna sing at the show. So I was up
Yeah.
there with the mic.
Oh, I think I saw videos of that, and I think I noticed like you were just like, yeah,
It was kind of
yeah.
fun.
I
Like
noticed he didn't have a guitar, and I was like, wait, he doesn't have a guitar. That's
I kind of
interesting.
want to do, like, I've seen some bands do this, but like I kind of want to have like a point in the set where I do just put my guitar down and do
Yeah,
the like frontman thing. It's
yeah,
fun and it keeps the show engaging when you switch it up like that.
yeah, for
Just
sure.
but
Um,
I don't know. We haven't like talked about that or worked that into a set yet, but kind
I
of want to
mean,
do that at some
it's
point.
well, it's doable.
I
Like
mean, we played a whole show without two guitars, so and we used to
without
be a three piece before Preston came.
what you said without two guitars, or so? What do you guys? What's the lineup right now? Like, is it so it's you
Currently,
on you
currently
would
we're a four piece,
okay?
and I play guitar and Preston plays guitar.
So you do rhythms usually or leads, or because you're singing, it's kind of
We go
bitch to
back
do
and
leads.
forth.
Okay.
Um, it kind of depends. Like if there's like some octaves going on, like Preston's usually playing those, or if it's like some kind of picking while I'm singing. But sometimes like just a lead line that's between verses I'll play. It just depends on the song. We mix it up.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Um, but he just joined us in 2020, so we used to be a three piece before he joined us. So it was
Yeah.
the power trio, the just me playing everything.
Well,
Um,
so because on the first album it was just three of you, right?
yep.
So you did the rhythm and the leads. So when you guys would do live, I guess you would just do like a mix of both, like before you had a second guitarist to help out.
Well, yeah, like I mean, if there's like not too much complicated guitar on that album or anything, it's not like there's really parts that have to have two guitars. It just sounds a little bit thinner live because if I'm playing a lead line, there's no rhythm behind it. You
Well,
just have to rely on the bass for that.
what did Tom DeLonge do? DeLonge, what did he do when
It's the
he?
same kind of thing.
Yeah, right. They
I
they,
mean,
they don't.
there's a lot of bands like that. It just
Well,
the rhythm will
yeah,
drop out and you'll hear the lead line.
yeah, but I've seen I mean, lately, what I've seen a lot of bands like All Time Low does this. They'll have like another dude like who's not like official, like he's like a touring member, so he'll just be like off to the side to fill in the sound a little bit. Because All Time Low
Yeah,
has two guitarists. I've seen that a lot. They usually just have like a touring member who comes in and fills it out a little bit, or maybe like because Green Day they have a fourth touring member.
yeah. It happens a lot when the bands get bigger and it's like they want to sound better.
Yeah,
But
but
there's a lot of bands. Like I mean, look at like
because Blake is huge, and when Tom was with
yeah.
them, I don't know what he would do. um, I don't know. Maybe
Maybe
like
they might have had like
a dude hiding behind an amp, just fucking playing.
but like I can't say that I can think of like knowing about one. In some bands, it's weird. Like Green Day has I forget his name. I
Yeah,
think like Jason something.
I think so.
He was a touring guitarist,
Yes,
but then at some point in like 2012, they just decided to make him a full time member.
but then he became a touring member again.
Yeah, they I don't know why they don't ever explain it, but he just like gets moved back to being a uh just like a touring member. And MXPX is a four piece now.
I actually don't know what they were before. I don't. I've actually
They
like I've never really listened to them. I just like
oh
never got
you're
into
missing
them.
out. I'll just send you some
Well,
songs.
make me a playlist, man.
Um
You got Spotify. I love playlists, man. Make me a playlist. I'll listen to it.
they I mean they were a three piece for like ever, but then once they started getting bigger, they got touring musicians.
Yeah,
And they had this touring guitarist for a long time, Chris Adkins.
yeah,
And about like 2018, they just like kind of casually, all of a sudden he was in all the photos and the liner notes, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're a four piece now." So
yeah. Okay.
sometimes it just I think when these bands have been around for a long time and they already gel with each other,
Yeah.
maybe they just like keep a guy as just being touring, but then after a while they're like, "Yeah, you know what? You're cool. You fit in with us. We'll be a four piece."
And some bands do the opposite. Like I don't know if you know the band the Front Bottoms.
I've heard
Um,
of them and heard a couple songs.
yeah, they started as like a two piece, and then they recruited this guy Sea Dog as like a guitarist, trombone, keys, just like everything else. And then what the crap was his name? I have to find it. Hold on. And Safari is not loading because Safari hates me. And I'm just gonna talk to Phil in space. Hey, producer Dan. I want like Dan, when you listen to this, I want you to just like, I don't know, like if I talk to producer Dan, can you just like add in like just like little replies to me and I'll have to like hear the podcast to like hear about, hear what you're telling me. He's not gonna do it. Dan, because Dan hates me. Okay, that is guy Tom on bass. And I think originally he was like a touring member, and then they made him like a full-time member. And then Sea Dog got into like some like canceled trouble. So then he like got kicked out of the band. And the next thing I saw, like all the promotion material was just like the two main dudes again. And but they're signed to like Food by Ramen, which is like owned by like Atlantic Records. So like I'm sure like some behind the scenes legal stuff happened, or like you get to a point where you're so big that the lawyer is like, hey, you have to do this, or like it's not gonna look good, but bands are weird and members come and go is the lesson here.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? So yeah, so retro. Well, so you were into the retro stuff and you adapted it as like your stage name, moniker, online persona, or whatever, for lack of a better word. So like I mess with you about this, like like you have a tube TV because you play old games, like do you like okay, it's like I can't play old games, dude. Like I'm so spoiled by modern technology. Like I love playing like Resident Evil remakes because it's not tank controls. Like I love modern games. I love how fluid controls are now. I cannot go back and play an N64 game. I just can't do it. But I guess like you can. Is that like just like a preference? You just there's nostalgia,
It's not. It's neither. I mean, nostalgia, yeah, but I wouldn't say it's like a preference so much. I mean, I
Yeah.
play new games and old games. I
Yeah.
what I do is I have a regular modern TV and I have a tube TV in separate rooms.
Yeah.
And so I have all my old game consoles hooked up to the tube TV. So that's
Yeah.
like the retro station. But then I go
Yeah.
out in the living room. I got the nice big widescreen. I'm playing the Switch and
Yeah.
play like the newer stuff.
Do you have a Dreamcast?
I do not. I did at one point, but I don't have it
You ever
currently.
play Power Stone?
Power Stone, what's that?
It was this like fighter for the Dreamcast. Back in like I must have been in like middle school, maybe early middle school, late elementary. Anyway, my dad bought me a Dreamcast at like a yard sale, like a bunch of old games, like old like Rainbow Six, and there's this game called Power Stone, and it was really cool. It was like this like Japanese, maybe Japanese. Let me look it up, but it was this like fighter, but it wasn't what is it? It wasn't like a 2D plane like a Street Fighter and like Tekken. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was like a 3D, like you can because the Dreamcast was what was it, 64-bit as well?
No, it was above that. I think it was a 128-bit.
Okay, yeah. So the game Power Stone was like it was like a like a small level now in retrospect, but you could move around like in 3 dimensions, and it was really fun. And I remember like the gimmick was throughout the match, like the Power Stones would like drop or whatever, and you can collect all of them, and you would get like you basically go Super Saiyan, for lack of a better word. Look it up; it's really cool. Okay, so it's a 1999 game made by Capcom, and I remember liking the aesthetic, like the character designs, and I guess okay, so there was a ported sequel, and the original game to the PSP, and there's an anime that ran from April 3rd, 1999 to September 25th, 99.
I'm gonna look this up. I want to see a picture.
You're gonna watch it?
No, I'm just gonna look up some pictures. So I know what you're talking about.
You're gonna find
Power
like
Stone.
you're gonna find a Power Stone from Marvel as well.
Oh,
So
I've seen this.
yeah. But that's actually how I discovered Shenmue. I don't know if you know what Shenmue is.
I don't know.
Shenmue is this like it's like a beat 'em up, and like it's like meant to be this like really like expansive like kind of art like RPG type of game. And the original was on Dreamcast, and then the second one was I want to say for Xbox, and then there wasn't a third one for like a decade. And there was a successful Kickstarter a few years ago for the third one, and I think Xbox has like an HD remake of the original two now. Like look it up. The Sega Dreamcast has some really cool games, and unfortunately they lost to Nintendo in the console wars. But Dreamcast has some really cool stuff, and it kind of there's a lot of like I think Dreamcast is a lot of like a lost media that just never hasn't had like HD remakes, or maybe the files are lost because maybe the studio's folded or whatever.
Well, I mean, a lot of Dreamcast games ended up going out to the GameCube.
Yeah,
like the Sonic Adventure games, or
yeah.
I can't even think right now.
Well, I just thought it was really interesting. Yeah.
Jet Set Radio on the Xbox. That was the Dreamcast first.
Yes, I believe so. Well, Sonic's a good example because that was like the rival to Mario, and then he ended up on he ended up on Nintendo. So Jet Set Radio actually for Game Boy Advance.
Well, it's definitely on the Xbox.
Oh, but it's based on the Dreamcast title. That's cool. Okay. Look at that. But yeah. So do you have any shows coming up? So this will be recording on February, September
It was a long time
23rd.
ago.
Yeah, right. September 23rd. So this will probably be out in a few days. Do you have any shows coming up like October?
Nothing in
You can.
October. We're actually trying to focus on finishing that new music.
Okay.
But November 5th, we are playing Punks for Paws in St. Pete,
Okay.
which is an all-day fest for animals. And
Okay.
you can tell by the name Punks for Paws.
Yeah.
So
You
that's at
guys gonna be playing
Nellis.
to animals? Like the animals are gonna be in the audience watching you?
Well, actually, they are a dog-friendly venue. It's the Pinellas Ale Works in St. Pete,
Okay.
which the initials are Paw Pinellas Ale Works.
Yeah, that's
Kind of
cool.
clever.
Yeah.
So yeah, should be a pretty fun show. Anybody who's remotely close to St. Pete, you're invited.
Yeah.
Even if you're not close to St. Pete, fly on down. You're still invited.
Yeah, fly on down, buy a ticket, go to Florida.
You're invited.
Where can they find us online? Like I guess Atomic Treehouse, but like this the organization, or have like a Instagram or whatever. I don't know.
And Instagram for us is just Atomic Treehouse.
Yeah, I'll have you plug your stuff later. Right, just look up Atomic Treehouse, you'll find it. I'm gonna have you plug your stuff.
There.
I'm gonna have you plug. Okay, and that's the only show for the foreseeable future.
It's the only thing booked right now.
Okay. Do you do any? You still do solo stuff, like performances?
Yeah, mostly. So since the solo stuff is like, I just play acoustic when I play live.
Yeah.
Solo. I mostly hit up like open mics for that, and I'll just be like, oh, I feel like doing an open mic this weekend, so I'll go through my discography and pick like 4 or 5 random songs I feel like playing.
Yeah.
And I'll play those ones.
Yeah, so it's like a looser thing. Okay, that's cool. I dig it.
Yeah, it gives me a chance to like kind of mix up. Like I'll go back to the same open mic multiple times and play completely different songs every time.
Yeah.
Like pull stuff out of that back catalog of solo stuff.
No, for sure. Before I let you go, because we have to wrap it up because my timer is running, and it's fine. When we record episodes without Dan, and like when it's like the full team, like we do like 2-hour episodes, and they know I hate it. And I want you to hear this. I hate it.
It's a long time.
It's a very long time. So I love when I can just do like an interview that's like 45 minutes, because I'm like, fucking yes. Ooh, this is just like it's a tight 90. I don't know if you understand the term. It's a tight 90. I'm gonna wrap this up and then go and relax. But I wanted to just bring up real quick like how we met, because it's through a mutual internet friend. I remember, well, I know him in person. So okay, so here's what happened. Like you had commented, and I think it was about like music or something. And I'm like, I think this guy plays. I was like, I think this guy plays music. And like at the time, I was like kind of like trying to find people to play music with. So since I know the person in real life and he used to live in this area, I assumed you did as well. And then I saw your Facebook and I was like, oh no, he doesn't live here. He lives in Florida.
Way down yonder.
But I think I added you because I think I look like a cool guy, and I forgot how we started talking, and I forgot who messaged who first, and then we're just friends now. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think is I'll talk to whoever. Like people send me stuff, I'll respond.
Yeah, that's cool. No, it's fun. Like we now talk like every day now, so that's actually pretty cool. Hooray for the internet. Yeah. So before I let you go, what are your pluggables? Where can people find you?
On everything, it's just Atomic Treehouse. It's we're on Spotify and Apple. Atomic Treehouse. Instagram username.
Are you on
Atomic
Bandcamp?
Treehouse.
Are you on Bandcamp?
Yeah, Bandcamp. AtomicTreehouse.bandcamp.com. Go to Facebook.com/Atomic Treehouse.
Do you want them to find your solo stuff too?
Oh, most of it's Alex Retro or Alex Retro Music.
I was looking through, I was on my Spotify and I forgot, like I follow your solo stuff, and your pictures is you holding like a ukulele or some shit. Like,
oh yeah, that's at the mall. I'm outside the mall, the Brandon Town Center.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there and I'm just kind of like, yeah, that checks out. That sounds about that makes sense. For those who don't watch, your shirt, it's an anime shirt. What is it?
It's a Yu Yu Hakusho 90s classic.
Yeah, watch Yu Yu Hakusho.
This is actually the cheap Walmart shirt that everybody has.
I'm gonna plug it in. We don't get paid for plugging Yu Yu Hakusho, people. Just watch it. It's a good show, and read it. It's a good manga. This is me doing you guys a favor. Go watch a good show.
And normally when I watch anime, I normally watch it in Japanese with the subtitles.
Ooh, you're a man of culture.
But Yu Yu Hakusho is just like, it's a classic dub. Like I like the English dub for that.
Yeah.
Like Kuwabara is, hey, you're messy. Like,
was like,
yeah, I want Yukina to notice me.
he has his pompadour because I was like, you know, when I was like younger, I always thought like, why does his hair look like that? And then like as an adult, I'm like, oh, it's a pompadour.
That's a good anime to watch in English.
I will only watch Cowboy Bebop in English because I love Spike Spiegel's voice in English. I have no idea what he sounds like in Japanese. I don't want to know.
Another another good dub is Kiki's Delivery Service, because
Yes.
that was Phil Hartman's final role, was playing Gigi the cat.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
to me, he like makes the character just like, oh well, I love pancakes.
Well,
Like that's
like watching fucking Howl's Moving Castle and like in dubbed, like Howl's voice actor so dramatic.
I've actually not seen that one dubbed. I've only seen it subbed.
Oh really? Okay. I've seen my wife loves Ghibli, so we watch like all of it like dubbed. Well, plug some anime real quick. What anime do you recommend to the people?
All of them. No, not
Oh,
all. Not
just-
all of them. No,
just-
actually, no.
Just watch every anime ever made.
Laid Back Camp. Watch Laid Back Camp.
You mentioned that earlier. Yeah.
That's a newer one where absolutely nothing happens.
There's no
they just-
violence, there's no fighting, there's no power-ups and key blasts.
It's just this group of girls, they go camping and they eat snacks and they have like this little chihuahua named Chikuwa, and it's just like it's laid back.
So no one just shows up and tries to destroy the planet. Oh, that's I guess. Nah, it sounds cool. Nah, it sounds wholesome. Yeah. Well, if you want key blast and power up, just watch Dragon Ball. It's
And yeah,
classic.
Dragon Ball. Well, if you want Key Blast, you gotta go to Dragon Ball Z, but
Do you watch
Dragon
Z?
Ball's the
I can't watch Z.
Z
I have to watch Kai. I can't watch Z anymore.
oh well, yeah, Kai, yeah, either one.
I just love Kai. But
It's
yeah.
warrants it by far.
Well, we have I'm running out of time, so I'm just gonna wrap it up. You plugged your pluggables. Thank you for joining me. I'd love to have you back. I'll have you back someday. Someday. No,
someday.
no, even like when we have when Dan and Josh are here, we'll have a guest occasionally. So we'll have you on for something. I don't know if you like Marvel or DC and shit like that. We'll talk, or Star Wars. I don't know. We can talk about that. Unless you're like, no, like those things aren't retro. I don't like them. No, I'm kidding.
Star Wars isn't retro.
Not the new stuff. All right.
I haven't seen the new stuff.
All right. Well, thank you for joining. I'm gonna say bye to the people. Daniel, I'm gonna stop recording yet. That you don't have to hang up yet. So yeah, thank you for joining. This has been Next Round on Me, joined with Alex Retro. You can say bye to the people. I don't know.
Bye to the people.
There you go. Yeah. Later, y'all. Love y'all. Be safe. Don't do drugs. All right, bye. I'm gonna stop recording now. How do I stop recording?